Okay, so we're here on a brand new Pike County farm. We got the owner, Jim Lenich from Michigan, and he's not really seen it very in depth. We were here first time, kind of rolled around it and bought it. And then Bobby hasn't seen it yet either. So we're kind of all here today. We're going to put some brain power into it and try to get some of these spots figured out strategy-wise for roads and fences and plots, and just kind of compile everybody's brain power today and hopefully come out the other side with a kick-ass plan.
A lot of times when we use switchgrass, everybody thinks it's for bedding and stuff. It's really not. It's more so to take plates off the table and force them. So the other way you can do that when you want to keep standing food is by, in your farming contract, forcing your farmer to chisel plow it immediately and controlling what is chisel plowed and what isn't. So like the way I would do this is I'd have a line of grass that went right to that opening so he can get in and out of the main field, and then I use a strip of grass as my screen, and I'd create the pinch right here, and I'd have standing that way and green this way, and then I'd just, in my contract, I'd force him to chisel plow all that ASAP,
so
to take the plates off the table. And I'll show you. But like, so when I start to do a thing like this, like, you know, I'm looking at dominant winds, northwest and west, so this lays out really good for that. And then I'll take my line tool, and I know where I want my gap already, and I'll try and make my huntable pinch. So that's 36. That's a little bit far. Now it depends. If we're doing this for Lee, he wants a 50-yard shot. If we're doing it for me, I want about 18. So doing it for Toby, it doesn't matter because he just hard shoots them. And that would be a box 4 foot tall in that switch.
So you can get in and out.
Something that's movable, either like our ones with the jack stands or on a trailer or whatever, so that you can get it out of that and let it grow up nice and tall in the summer. You can burn it and everything. I'm a fan of not really planting a lot of, like my green plots, I want them to be clover, period. Unless it's big enough to justify alfalfa and have a farmer take care of it, because I want the food there and them used to it all year.
You're not looking to put a brassica fall plot in there.
I would overseed my brassicas and my cereal grains in here, rye and turnips, and that way you keep your huntability because you're not expanding acreage. You still get everything they want. You got a legume, cereal grain, brassica, grain, but it's all in the same area, which keeps it as huntable as possible. And by keeping the green on this side, you know, you're going to force a lot of traffic that direction.
But so where do you think these deer that are coming to this are coming from then?
This right here, we walked this. It's really thick. It's got cedars in it.
Okay.
There's rubs in here like this.
Okay.
The whole distance. So they're spending some time in here. Okay. That little pocket right there is the same deal.
Yeah.
Both of these are thick.
That stuff there is so small, it looks like it'd be, it already looks thick, but if it's not that thick, that stuff would be primed to do like TSI type stuff in, you know.
Yeah.
But those deer, I can already see from here, with no pressure, they're gonna load up in there.
Yeah, you walked through there, dude. It's got a couple little benches. They're bedding on the benches, and so cedar trees in there are just destroyed all over the road.
So if you did this much green, you try to go to alfalfa.
Yeah, or flip-flop it, do that whole thing in alfalfa, and just trying to figure out what's gonna work better on which side. And then take and have Mike make a water hole right there, pond, little water hole. And then have the end of the fence with the box on it, the tree koi, water hole, and make them use this gap between the green and the green. That way you pulled it off the fence. You got grass planted down the fence line or something, so you can screen yourself getting in and out. This would just be sick.
Most of the best farms, they don't ever hit the market. A lot of our farms sell prior to ever being on the market. We have a pre-market buyer list, and that gives you the ability to put your email in there and follow along as we get projects underway. We'll blast out there, you know, the first email you might see is, we got this 80 coming available in Southeast Iowa, and a lot of people already are looking in an area, and it gives you that ability to get in on something before it actually hits the market and gets gone.
you kind of the same setup here.
Nice natural waterfall.
I like this.
I like to hear that, Bobby.
Yeah. I feel like whatever you do with that food, it really needs to be set up for the dominant winds, you know, because the good fronts and shit, you have the norths and wests, and you got so much to do, so much space to design that. You know, having these rut spots, I think it's nice to have, like we talked about. But this in here, we were talking about that before. What I do now is I probably take some of these deadfalls and I'd wall them to that, and make a wall from here to there. I think there's enough debris around here, and like if you, so like I'm trying to figure out a rut spot. You know, it's about thinking how a deer is going to use his nose. So like with an east wind, which is what this sets up for, what's he going to do through here? And like he's going to be checking all this, and he's going to be checking all this cover. And he's going to be up here, all these little points and fingers. And if you see naturally, like we need to get that tree pulled out of the way. See all these little tiny draws and stuff that come up? They're going to walk with an east wind right across this bench right here. And they're going to stop into this and everything. And so I personally would be in that little hickory right there because there's enough back cover right there. And an east wind, and I'd wall it off that direction and make them all, and it'd be crazy right here. Between the deer coming and stopping at this and clean this levee up for an east wind and the rut, sick. And they're gonna walk right down this bench. I'd rather be in the wrong tree in the right spot than the right tree in the wrong spot. So you could sacrifice it and get in that hackberry that's split, that's got a little more cover. It's just, if you look at the natural terrain, the pinch is right. It's from right here to right on the other side of those two split trees. That's the tightest spot here that they're going to walk through. So if you go back to that hackberry, you just it's from there it starts opening, you know. So I'd just rather be up here a little bit more. You could get in the hackberry, or you could get in one of these, but like I kind of assess the situation and be like, where would I want to be? And it's like that little circle of where I want to be is right here.
Okay. So you'd always look to be in a tree, though. Would you ever think about introducing a box back in an area like this?
No, because I'm hunting this in the rut, and in the rut you got to be using your ears and your eyes.
You gotta be agile. Okay.
You know.
Okay.
I just love spots like this.
Yeah.
It's like this is what deer hunting is like all about.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just fun to.
How high would you get up in that tree?
It curves up and then it flattens out.
Yeah.
I'd get up in where that flat is.
Had them cutting this whole south end of this heavy on the south facing slope. Proximity to food.
What do you see there, Bobby, that tells you that?
Well,
See the terrain.
if this is all bedding and they're going to that food, there's a wicked pinch right here. I mean, in a perfect world, that's a fence. That property line is a fence, and they're already coming around the corner of it. But man, if that is what it looks like it might be, let's bomb down there and look at that real quick. Switch grass from here that way, and then mow a trail on the switch right here, up and over, woodlot to woodlot, and then hang a northwest rut set right here. It resembles an inside corner. There's a cover change here. See? And there's a flat here. And so once again with a northwest, if I'm a big deer and I know that big block there's deer bedding in it, especially with all this low shit that they got to lay in, and those deer have to use their nose to hunt does. So with a northwest, if I'm a big deer and I'm trying to find a girlfriend up here, I'm going to be staying more on this end of this woodlot, which is eventually going to lead me to this spot. Okay.
This is the part that they're going to cut hard, with all that south facing slope down through there. And if you had logging road coming out of that bedding thicket and it came right through here on top of them, already using this little pinch, that would just take it right over the top.
They'd use that to contain those
The minute you pull out of here, they're walking the road.
Yeah.
And then every deer that gets born here and raised here, long game, you know, that's all they're going to know how to do. You'll just shoot them all on the road.
I like this whole thing. Is at first I was like, I don't know about having that green. I mean, because you're so deep in the wind. But I think that this pinch here.
Bobby, finish that though. You said you know about having green because you're so deep in. What do you mean by that?
All this cover to get into here, you're just
okay.
Yeah, so you could either come in this way with the west, or you could come in this way with a south.
Yeah, but now that I see it and stuff, I think you have to go look at that. So you have a box out there, and you could slide that box up and down as they eat the beans out, or as you mow corn, you can slide it up and down the switch edge.
Yeah.
Let them friggin' scrape down that whole edge in this and put a tree koi right here, and then start the grain right here. Okay. You could almost pre-write the script of what will happen right here to the day next year. So you go into October, and you'll have cameras obviously right here in the pinch. They'll be telling you everything you need to know about this whole food source, and you'll have the biggest, most mature deer in the area will be on the camera, and he'll be there at night a lot because that's what they do, and on the better days, end of September, he'll be there more in the daylight. It's more forgiving. He'll be there even on some less good days because they're still summery, you know. But as you get into the first couple weeks of October, they start getting ornery and reclusive, and their triggers to move in daylight become more specific. So, but let's say it's October 10th and there's a front rolling in and high pressure skyrocketing, Magic X day. He's been through here in the dark, and you got a west wind. You're gonna come here. He's gonna come out, mess with the does, scatter them, and then lose interest in them, nibble a little bit, and walk right down here and hit these scrapes and get shot.
October 10th.
On the first high pressure front.
It's on film.
So that's going to be the main spot to hunt. The box is just to move as you get later in the season and you're moving food. You're chasing food.
Yeah. In October, he's going to get shot out of this.
Okay.
And October can be finicky with the winds and stuff, but because of this ditch behind here, you should be good. What I would do if we had a northwest wind and it was November 5th, I would wait till gray daylight, come behind my switch to the very far end, glass the field until it was clear, and then I'd get in that stand up there. I'd sit there from 9 till 3, and then I'd slip down and come around the back of the grass, and I'd cut back through and I'd get in here.
Okay, so why are you sitting up there from 9 to 3 though? Why aren't you getting down? If the field's cleared, why aren't you moving into here?
Because that time of year, their mindset, they're looking, he's hunting. Say you're hunting him, he's hunting a doe. And he's using his nose, and he's liable to be out, especially the deer we're after. It's very underrated, like in the middle of the day from the 5th to like the 12th or 13th. I mean, they are gonna be, those big mature ones it's kind of like turkeys. Like a lot of times they're not callable, they're henned up in the morning, and then when they lose it, they're just out. It's the same thing. And you're not gonna see the deer numbers, but the giant, you might see him. And he's going to use the cover, he's going to use his nose, and he's going to stay in cover. He's a lot less likely to be out here. He might cut across here and look in the middle of the day, but he's probably not going to be just walking up and down through this pinch. Up there, he's going to be hunting that woodlot with his nose. He could be down here when you get in the stand. He could be on the side hill with that quartering northwest all the way up to where he can cut across in that switch and get to the next woodlot. So you're more likely to catch him in a pinch on the downwind side of cover, using his nose to hunt around in the middle of the day than you are to get him out here. But in the evening, when this thing loads up with does, you're a lot more likely. You can come out, if he comes out up there and there's does down here, he's going to walk right through here, or vice versa. Do a 20-yard strip of the grass from that point on around to there to hold it all in, and you could leave standing crops down there, and then you could do this in green. You could put another little pond right there. That's definitely going to take water.
Would you continue this in green and just make it bigger?
That's what I think.
and then use the water hole as the transition to standing crop.
Yeah.
What about though when you're back? I'm just, one of the issues I have on my current farm, and this isn't quite like that, but we're running back to there. No big deal for coming here an afternoon hunt, but as we come out though, you could.
Well, you've grass.
Oh, you think?
You
Oh, you got the grasses
because
there.
of the way it rolls, as long as they chisel plowed it, I think, it's a little bit trickier because you got,
The wind's not great.
you'd be having to hunt it with a south.
You need to be getting up here with the south or down here with a straight north on this end or something. Like you get a box on that point with a straight north, come right in with the wind in your face and hunt the green. It seems like there's a whole lot of area down here that we're not pulling from. You get this close enough to the road, you'll pull deer from across the road too. You got that one covering that quadrant, that one covering that quadrant. You got this whole end of the farm.
Hey, I'm Alex Carr. I manage the Whitetail Logging Group, and today we're out here marking property for a select cut. I've been managing the logging side of things for the last year. It's kind of funny how me and Bobby met, actually. I went to school for forestry. When I graduated, I got out and decided to pick up utility forestry. Was in that for a few years, and then I decided I wanted to be a lineman. So I worked for the power company for about 5 years. I was journeyman lineman out of Local 51. I was kind of buying properties on my own for deer hunting, and I decided to sell my property, and one of the guys who wanted to buy it was Bobby. And I always said how I wanted to get back into my degree and everything. So basically, we kind of started buying some properties together, and I kind of went along and learned the ropes. And so here today, this is what I do every day. This time of year, we're doing a lot of consults and everything. I'll put on the sales, figure out who's paying the most on what at what time, deal with the export yard and whatnot. You got to be pretty savvy with the markets today because they're constantly changing, and if you don't have somebody in your court, you could really be losing out on a lot of money.